All right. 13. Why do you speak to me, says Scaevola, of this Stesius, this peripet. What is it? Peripatetic. Peripatetic. You must comply with the wishes of these young gentlemen, Crassius, who do not want the common profitless talk of any Greek or any empty delaminations of the schools, but desire to know the opinions of a man in whose footsteps they long to tread, one who is the wisest and most eloquent of all men, who is not distinguished by pretty books or precepts, but is the first both in judgment and oratory in causes of the greatest consequence, and in the seat of empire and glory. For my part, as I always thought you a God in eloquence, so I have never attributed to you greater praise for oratory than for politeness, which you ought to show on this occasion especially, and not to decline a discussion on which two young men of such excellent ability invite you to enter. I am certainly, replied Crassius, desirous to oblige them, nor shall I think it any trouble to speak briefly, as in my manner, what I think upon any point of the subject. And to their first question, because I do not think it right for me to neglect your admonition, Scaevola, I answered that I think there is either no art of speaking at all, or but very little, but that all the disputation about it among the learned arises from a difference of opinion about the word. For if art is to be defined according to what Antonius just now asserted as lying in things thoroughly understood and fully known, such as are abstracted from the caprice of opinion and comprehended in the limits of science, there seems to me to be no art at all in oratory, since all the species of our forensic dictation are various and suited to the common understanding of the people. Yet if those things which have been observed in the practice and method of speaking have been noted and chronicled by ingenious and skillful men, have been set forth in words, illustrated in their several kinds, and distributed into parts, as I think may possibly be done. I do not understand why speaking may not be deemed an art, if not according to the exact definition of Antonius, at least according to common opinion. But whether it be an art or merely the resemblance of an art, it is not indeed to be neglected. Yet we must understand that there are other things of more consequence for the attainment of eloquence. 14. Antonius then observed that he was very strongly of opinion with Crassius, for he neither adopted such a definition of art as those preferred who attributed all the power of eloquence to art, nor did he repudiate it entirely, as most of the philosophers had done. But I imagine, Crassius added he, that you will gratify these two young men if you will specify those particulars which you think may be more conducive to oratory than art itself. I will indeed mention them, he said, since I have engaged to do so, but must beg you not to publish my trifling remarks, though I will keep myself under such restraint as not to seem to speak like a master or artist, but like one of the number of private citizens, moderately versed in the practice of the forum, and not altogether ignorant, not to have offered anything from myself, but to have accidentally fallen in with the course of your conversation. Indeed, when I was a candidate for office, I used, at the time of canvassing, to send away Scaevola from me, telling him I wanted to be foolish, that is, to solicit with flattery a thing that cannot be done to any purpose unless it be done foolishly, and that he was the only man in the world in whose presence I should least like to play the fool, or yet fortune has appointed him to be a witness and spectator of my folly. For what is more foolish than to speak about speaking when speaking itself is never otherwise than foolish, except it is absolutely necessary? Proceed, however, Crassius, said Scaevola, for I will take upon myself the blame which you fear.